blow the dust off this channel, man. As the year 2024 comes to an end, I want to take a step back and look at, what was meant to be the future of boxing, 10 years ago. So we're gonna take a step back and look at, some of the top prospects from the year 2014, and to give a where are they now, and 10 years later. So let's get started. First, we'll start off with the guy who, probably to most at this time was the prospect of the year, Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua had 7 fights in the year 2014, and he ended up stopping all 7 of his opponents. After being the prospect of the year, according to BoxingScene.com, and a couple more stoppages, at the end of 2015, he would face his first real test in Dillian Whyte. And after a somewhat competitive showing by Whyte, Joshua would end the fight with an uppercut, sending Whyte to the Shadow Realm.
Now you know he did.
After beating Charles Martin, Vladimir Klitschko, and Joseph Parker to become a unified champion, he would suffer his first defeat at the hands of the underdog Andy Ruiz, being stopped in the 7th round. But he would avenge this loss and regain his titles later that year by unanimous decision. But in 2021, he would have to climb back again after losing to Usyk in a unanimous decision and losing to him again in their rematch by split decision. And after an undefeated 2023, in the present day, Anthony Joshua is once again trying to pick up the pieces after a shocking defeat at the hands, literally, of Daniel Dubois. What's next for Joshua? Only time will tell. Some people thought he was going to retire after that knockout or whatever, but he came out himself and said, I'm not retiring, I'm going to keep fighting. So, what the future holds in 2025 for him, we going to see. Next up, we have the runner-up prospect of the year, Artur Beterbiev. With his 2015 being filled with some key busy fights, mixed in with a title eliminator and some regional belts being won, Beterbiev's 2016 would feature 2 fights for the NABA light heavyweight title, both of which he would win. But his 2017 would only have 1 fight. But this fight would be his biggest to date, because he would be fighting Enrico Coelho for the IBF World title. After stopping Coelho, he would then in 2018 fight Callum Johnson in his second defense of his IBF title, and after being knocked down himself in round 2, he would finish Johnson in round 4 to pick up the knockout win. And in 2019, after successfully defending his IBF strap once again and established victory over however you say this, he would attempt to add some more gold to his collection by challenging however you say this for his WBC title in a unification bout. And after a close 10 rounds, he would end the fight by stopping him in his tracks. Side note, these scorecards are kind of crazy just looking at them. Somebody was going to get robbed and be mad after this night if it didn't go, if he didn't finish it. Fast forward to 2024, after holding 3 of the 4 major belts in the light heavyweight division and beating names like Joe Smith Jr., Anthony Yarde, and Callum Smith, he would face one of the biggest names in modern boxing, Dmitry Bivol. And after a close fight, he would come away with a controversial majority decision, prompting a rematch slated to take place in 2025 to see who was the true king of the 175ers. Next up, we have one of my favorite fighters of all time, Errol Spence Jr. One of the more proven prospects at his time due to his amateur background, he would start to live up to his nickname by stopping his first real test in Philo Greco, showing that he may be the truth after all. And after continuing to prove himself by beating names like Chris Algieri, Errol would get his shot at gold when in 2017 he faced the powerful Kell Brook in his own backyard for the IBF title. And after a shaky start, Errol would win the strap after stopping Brook in the 11th round, breaking his face a little bit in the process. Take a step forward to 2019, after beating Lamont Peterson and Carlos Ocampo, Errol would have his most anticipated fight yet against Mikey Garcia. Errol Spence would then dominate Mikey Garcia for the whole 12 rounds, coasting to an easy unanimous decision. And after beating Sean Porter in another hard-fought battle, Errol Spence would face his biggest test yet, but wouldn't be in the boxing ring. Errol would be in a car accident that would change the trajectory of his career drastically, causing, now that I think about it, a kind of short layoff of only like a little bit over a year. But after recovering from that, he'll make his comeback against Mr. Cherry Pick himself, Danny Garcia, earning a unanimous decision victory. And let's fast forward to the present day. we can see that Errol has just suffered another setback after being brutalized by Terrence Crawford. And after a lot of speculation about what could be next for him, the last we heard about him was a plan to move up and fight the dangerous Sebastian Fundora in early 2025. And lastly, we have the previous year's winner of Prospect of the Year, Felix Verdejo. After winning the Prospect of the Year in 2013, his biggest criticism was the lack of competition, and in 2014 it was much of the same. And history will repeat again in 2015. But after being involved in a motorcycle accident in 2016, his career was just, keeping busy and keeping sharp until he had his first setback in a TKO loss at the hands of Antonio Lozada. The next couple years of his career was spent trying to climb back up the ranks and live up to what was predicted for his future. But despite his work trying to get back his name, he would suffer another defeat after losing to, however you say that, and another TKO loss. And nobody knew it back then, but this would be the last time we would ever see him in a boxing ring. But not the last time we would hear about him, but it wasn't for anything positive. Now, I'm not going to go into the grisly details. You can subject yourself to that, but I'll give a quick summary. In 2021, Felix was implicated as a prime suspect in the disappearance of a pregnant Keishla Rodriguez. And after 2 years of legal proceedings and 25 hours of deliberation, Felix was found guilty in Miss Rodriguez and her unborn child, who Verdejo was found to be the father of, kidnapping and murder, receiving 2 life sentences. And I know we kind of ended on a sad note right there, but that was the future of boxing from 2014. Where are they now? Leave any suggestions and any thoughts in the comment section. And I'm out.